Hello and welcome to Startup Sluts, the only podcast that treats the roller coaster of building a business like really tough life choices. I am Mary.
Hello, I am Ksenia, and yes, we are those ex-co-founders who survived to tell a tale and to split a cup of tea for our hiring journey.
Welcome to Startup Sluts, where we keep it real. No sugar-coated stories, just the raw deal.
So today the topic is the one that really can make or break it, as Ksenia mentioned, hiring, or how we like to call it, the hiring hangover.
Absolutely, because bad hiring can leave you with a huge headache, with a depleted bank account, and a serious case of regret.
Yeah, and we both can say we've been there, done that, and survived that. And so here we are telling this story.
Exactly. So grab your cup of coffee, as we did, or your mimosa, we don't judge you, and get ready for some very interesting and insightful information how to do a great hiring process.
Let's start.
Let's start.
Okay, so let's start with diving deep into the details, and this is a big one. And this comes from our experience as founders that were not HR people. Because let's be honest, small startups never have, like almost never have, the ability to have a dedicated HR person or even a department. So you as a founder need to wear another hat.
Yes, and it was something was in my mind, especially at the beginning of our startup journey. How do we actually find people to hire when we have zero experience in HR and we even less no budget for it?
Yeah, and that's exactly the biggest question. You cannot just post a LinkedIn ad and expect people to flood your inbox, because there are players like Google on the market who offer like amazing perks, and there you are, a struggling founder. So it's for us it was reframing it and not just hiring, but looking for like people that believe in our mission and vision.
Yes, it's the perfect way to put it, and we were selling the story. We personally convinced people in our mission, in our vision, and we were the very first evangelists of our own startup.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest, it was not a choice. We did not have really a choice. It was no other way around, because our budget was almost non-existent. And as I said, there are so many companies offering lunches and benefits, and we could not even offer like the real market salaries. So the only way is the people to come to you with like minimum paycheck is to really believe in you and your vision.
Yes, 100%. As I mentioned already, each and every early startup founder, they are evangelists of their startup. They need to convince people to follow them with your own mission about your own startup. And it's not just a professional who jump into the boat. It is someone with whom you build the startup from ground up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so now you have done hard work. You've been a headhunter. You've sold your vision, and now the candidate is sitting in front of you or in front of your screen. And the big question is, how do you actually choose? Like, how do you know if they're right person, especially for the role you personally do not understand a lot about?
Yes, and it's exactly where it gets so tricky and where founders can make huge mistakes. I'm having flashbacks at this moment about our very first hiring of our first non-technical person. Do you remember how we have found her?
Yeah, of course. It was like really the first early stage founder struggle, because we did not post anything on LinkedIn or any job openings. We were proactively reaching out to people ourselves on LinkedIn or to people that were recommended to us on the events, or we met them personally on the events.
Yes, exactly. We have found this person and we have ask her to prepare a presentation, what she can offer us, what she can propose us, how we can improve our marketing strategy. And she was so polished, she was so convinced. So she gave us an overwhelming feeling that she knew what to do.
Yeah, exactly. And especially when you are a two-team company and you are drowning in to-do lists, and suddenly someone comes and says like, "Hey, don't worry, I can take over it. I know how to do it." It's like a, I don't know, blessing in the in disguise.
Yes, absolutely. And it's also the moment that it is when they are specialists in the branches or domains outside of your own expertise. You are the whole time, or at least I, the whole time was asking myself, how do we assess the actual skills when we don't have a real clue in this domain?
Yeah. And of course, it is even more tricky when it comes to like technical roles, where, for example, when we were hiring our first IT specialist, I was listening to him and I was like, he sounds like an amazing expert, but do I know it? Like, he's saying the words I've never heard. Like, is it true? So we were really lucky to have a CTO in the team, who could participate in the interviews, assess what the person was saying, review the code, so we knew that we were not being bullshit and sold something that was not real.
Yes, and exactly what we have learned the hard way, that the best way is to find someone who can help you during the hiring process. I think a lot of startups participate in different programs, accelerators, incubators. There are tutors there, and at least they can help you to prepare a set of questions you need to ask, or maybe even they have an opportunity like to be present during the last 10 minutes of the hiring process and to give your feedback about this person. But generally speaking, of course, I think as a rule, it is everything about your gut feeling.
Yeah, of course, and in a lot of cases, you need to trust your gut feeling, or you have no other choice.
Yes, and of course, the probability that you will do a wrong choice based on your gut feeling is also very big, but it's life.
Yeah, it's startup life for sure.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so we have established that you are your first evangelist in every possible direction as a founder. But yeah, I think it's important to also get into mechanics. Like, how do you structure the process? How do you structure the hiring process? Who interviews when, how, or like who is present on which part of the interview?
Yes, this is the moment when you need to create your own playbook. Even if it's like just some sentences on whiteboard, it should be there. And first question you need to ask, do we need to hire a developer or a maker?
Yeah, absolutely. And the following question, a very important one, is not do I need to hire this or that position? What is the problem I want to solve by hiring for this position? Like, is my sales dropping because I can't keep up with leads? Yeah, then I need another salesperson. Is my product not like is it not working because I have a bug that I can solve? Yeah, you need a developer or you need an IT person. It's very easy to answer that.
Yes, exactly. And at the moment you have understood what is your problem and what problem you need to solve, then you can define the type of professional, a person you need, and you can better understand what way of thinking this person should have and what energy this person can bring into your startup, into your team, because it's extremely important also. You are, as a founder, you are a gatekeeper. It means if the person is wrong, the whole energy inside of your team will be also bad.
Yeah, and especially when it's a very small team, this energy is very noticeable. And yeah, this might be a little controversial, but I think you need to be a detective because nowadays people leave so many traces on the internet and you can deep dive on their background and see stuff. And even if it's not allowed or frowned upon, you don't say that you are doing it, you just do it as a founder.
Yes, actually, I think in Germany it's not allowed, but on the other hand, I can easily imagine the situation that, for example, you are looking for a person, and for example, I am Ukrainian, yeah, and Russia does for years the war against Ukraine. So if this person from Russia, for example, and this person posting pro-Putin content, pro-war content, I'm not sure that the energy inside the team will be good together with me and this person in one room, you know. So
Yeah, exactly. So even if it's a questionable thing, it's for healthy development of your team, because yeah, you cannot work with everyone as politically correct you wanna be. It's
very
we are
hard.
all human.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's talk about thinking part. Because in startup, there are two things which are a real poison for any team, any product, for everyone. It's the arrogance and an inability to handle stress.
Yeah, and like there are this is the most important, that a person as you are hiring can adjust and go through stress and change very quickly, but also you as a founder can quickly adjust too, because you can post a role, and nowadays there are so many different roles and the job description might not say anything, so you need to understand what technical or other skills from this person do you really need, because like I don't know, saying product manager, and like do you need them to have technical knowledge, sales knowledge, everything? So are you looking for a generalist? Because this will be a problem in few months.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, I agree with you. Especially in startups, it is like projects, something what you have discussed on Monday can change drastically on Wednesday, and person should adjust very quickly and maybe to delete everything was done and to start from ground up. And that is why I think it's also important to define clearly what skills, set of skills should professional have, and this or must, and these skills should not be negotiable. Negotiable.
Negotiable.
Negotiable.
Non-negotiable skill.
Non-negotiable, non-negotiable skills. Yes, qualities. Because sometimes you like for example, you may ask the question, I need developer, so this developer should code in this language, in this specific coding language, and it's there is no trade-off here. You can't say, oh, this person is cool, but this person can't do Python. What you will do with this great person, which can't like close the gap and close the problem you have, for example, in the product development, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. And also, like the job you are hiring today almost certainly will change in a few months as an early stage startup, especially. And what do you do then? Is this person adapting to the change? Can you see their skills adapting to the next step of the role you need? Or do you need to fire them?
Yeah, and also maybe person actually doesn't want to do another type of work which should be done.
Yeah, that's where the question of person's adaptability comes into play too. Like
Yeah.
if someone joined your company because they believed in the mission and vision so much, I think they have even extra motivation to adjust then to the role changes within the company.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's a very tough moment in the company's development, and it's a moment when founders should make big decisions, because if you don't do it, your company won't get further investments or won't get clients, and
Yeah,
that's
then
it.
yeah, then the you and the rest of the team
We'll
fail.
lose
Yeah.
job.
In this economy. Yeah, we've talked about finding the right people, defining the role, but how do you actually run the meaningful process? Like, how do you move beyond these polished CVs that nowadays are probably written by AI and actually figure out how someone thinks and operates?
Yes, and I think very often You can hear the worst question in the history during your hiring process, and it sounds like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And to be honest, each and every time I am hearing this question, I'm like screaming inside of me.
Yeah, I can understand it. I really hate it too, especially because I don't think anyone can really answer that question truthfully. Like, I don't know. I hope we're not bankrupt. Or I hope I'm on the beach sipping my margaritas because I had an amazing exit. I don't know what who knows what's happening in 5 years.
Yeah, truly believe it's very corporate question because in startup reality, I think a very meaningful question would be to ask like, how do you handle a situation where you need my help, but I am in a deep focus.
Yeah, it's really a great question because it's not hypothetical. It's a real thing that will for sure happen on some random afternoon, and it will show how these people operates within the team.
Yeah, and the right answer, I will tap you. I will tap your shoulder on your shoulder. No, of course not. The right answer would be, I will write you a message in a Slack, and I will take a time, and I will wait so long. You need to answer this question, and I think it will be clear. If I'm very busy, I won't answer immediately, and when I will have time, I will answer.
Yeah, and if it's a burning thing, then you keep pushing.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that really happens, but that's a exception, not a rule.
Yeah.
But yeah, it also comes to a good point that I've been part of the interviews where I did not know a lot about the role we were interviewing for, but I was there not just like taking up space. But also looking at the so-called cultural fit in the team, because it's also something that when you see two people interviewing and you are a third person, you can see how people react, their body language to it. So you can tell a lot from being in this space and asking like personal questions. So I think it's always a interesting and challenging thing to ask, like, oh, tell me about a time when you were working on a project for a long time and it was cancelled. Because I can 100% guarantee that will happen. So how will people react? Because, it's like it was my time, I worked hard. But that's about the adaptability in the startup. So you for sure will need to scrap something.
Yes, because the most important what you are testing during the hiring process, you are testing for resilience, for lack of ego, and for an understanding about the mission, the vision you are working on, and it is more important than their personal attachment for this or that project or task.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now let's talk about a very important part of the hiring process is home tasks, for example, trial tasks, like take-home assignments, not just home tasks, work tests, and so on, something like this. What do you think about it?
Don't get me started. I think I have like a personal wounds. I mean, it depends. But speaking from my experience, when I was applying for roles and I was applying for like roles in marketing, I had a few take-home tasks to do, where people were like, "Oh, it should take you like 2-3 hours," which is impossible. First of all, then I doubted my professionalism when it took me a week, but because it was impossible to do in 2 hours. And I worked on it, I did a presentation, I sent it over, and zero answer. I felt used.
Mm-hmm.
One thing is, how do you measure someone's knowledge in marketing by take-home task? Like, how do you do that? And most importantly, I knew that it was not some task they came up with just to test someone. It was something they needed inside their team. So I worked for free. Did a volunteering job that I did not sign for.
Yes, and I think it's a sign of very toxic company, of very disrespectful culture against candidates, against people, and I don't think that you need to stay in those companies to work together with those people.
Yeah, exactly. It shows a very early stage the culture within that company, and I don't want to be part of that mindset myself. But anyways, it's frustrating. It's when you ask someone to work on something for a week, you can at least write them why you are not taking them. It's like, I understand you can't answer everyone, but you made me work for a week. Have a decency to write why I'm not good fit for it. And even though I have this approach to take home tasks, I understand that they are also important in some cases. For example, for more technical roles, like for IT, for example, like I think it's crucial to have a small task.
I agree with you absolutely. The tricky moment here is that nowadays I can't imagine that people don't use AI for coding. So I think people need to change the mindset how they test IT people right now. I think it's you don't need to say, okay, I don't want you don't use AI. I think you need to ask, okay, even if we use AI, can you explain me the logic why it was done this way and not this way? Because AI sometimes creating some very broken code, and people need just to debug it, and people need to understand where they need to start with, or maybe they truly need to delete the whole written code and redo it. So it's important that people understand the logic, why they do this step, that step, and not just say, okay, let's don't use AI, it's forbidden. It doesn't work nowadays this
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, I think it's very foolish to be against AI because generally, my opinion is that if I can save 5 minutes of my time and spend €5 extra, I prefer to spend €5 extra because my time should be more valuable than that. And if there are tools that can really help me achieve my goal faster, better, why should I not use them? It's just really bad when someone blindly relies on it. And to be honest, that is very visible in the first step of person's application. Because if the sentencing starts, I'm excited to join your company, and you know it's like all written by AI and nothing edit personal. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now you have hired someone. You did all this interview, you checked their skills, you onboarded them already, but something falls off. And it is a question you need to ask yourself. When do you know it's time to say goodbye?
Yeah, it's a evil twin of hiring, but maybe even more crucial than hiring itself, because there are a lot of red flags that you can look at, because there are cases where people seem like, everyone has this grace period, which is like you need to give that to people to understand your company, feel also kind of part of the team. That takes time. But after that, some people, you always see them being very busy, but never busy with their tasks. So what does it say?
What?
It means I think it clearly shows that either a person does not know how to do their job, which they applied for. So maybe you should move them to sales because they were amazing salespeople, their own selling them in the interview, or they are overwhelmed.
Okay, with the first case, I think you can do a lot. You need to hire this person, but what you can do with the second case?
Yeah, I mean, if someone is overwhelmed, you also need to rethink your approach. Why is this person overwhelmed? Am I expecting too much? Am I expecting not realistic stuff? Am I not giving enough support as a manager? And also, why are not they coming to me and telling me that directly? This is also another question of a culture within the team. So I think the most logical approach to this is going to these people, talking multiple times, like maybe thinking of a solution together, especially if you see the value of this team member bringing to your company and your team, then you need to work with them together.
Absolutely, I agree with you, and I think it's also very important, like to together with this team member, to define when do you expect to get the first results. Yeah, at what period of time they should deliver this very first results, and if they haven't done it, the question is why.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I mean, we've highlighted this multiple times that startup, especially early stage startup, feels uh, like jumping into water and then understanding how to swim. The thing is, you as a manager and the founder, you do not push people into water and expect them to swim. You kind of either jump with them or give them a lifeboat to for the beginning. Either way, then you are failing, in my opinion, as a manager.
Yeah, I agree with you. And we can give actually an example from our own experience with the development of our application, which was not launched. You can see it. Just believe it. So it was like not a very visually. It was not a very sophisticated design. It was like minimalistic design, you know. So in my opinion, those type like 4-5 screens or from 3 to 5 screens, it depends. Like 3-4 screens, I think you can clearly say if it's minimalistic design, they should be ready during the first 2 months.
Yeah, exactly. And you give them a grace period that we mentioned. Like in our case, it was usually 2 weeks, and because we were also not a big company, so but they still needed to understand our vision, our mission, how we are working, how we are creating it technically, and after that, yeah, you expect the results.
Yeah, and I'm curious what like okay 2-3 months, but how do you think? Um, but in Germany there is like 6 months. How's it? mm,
The probation
The
time?
probation time exactly. How do you think for startup which developing rapidly, 6 months it's too long, or it's okay, or you need to fire the person earlier?
I think it depends also on the role. Some are crucial. In some roles, you cannot wait that long. Um, and generally for startup, 6 months feels like maybe 2 years for a corporate. So what corporate does in 3 years, you as a startup need to do in 3 months. So yeah, based on that, of course, it's very hard to expect that much from people, but that should be also very clearly communicated in the process. So the person, when coming to your company, should have this understanding. I might need to work like work.
Like a horse.
Yeah, and they themselves should be interested in delivering that result, because if you blink a little longer as a startup, someone else might be on the market, and then everything you worked goes to nothing. So yeah, we've talked a lot about what to look for, how to structure it, but the question still stays, like, how do you hire? Do you hire for the proven skills that you desperately need today, or do you hire for a raw potential that can really be amazing tomorrow?
It's such an ultimate dilemma for each and every startup. The problem is that only established companies have a budget to learn people, to teach them. Yeah. So, of course, in startup, you can't do it, to be honest. You can't do it. You don't have either time, neither time, nor money.
Yeah, so how do you do it? I think the most important thing to do is understand, like, there are roles that are really crucial. And it's not a simple choice, it's not that easy, it's not easy to balance, but that's the key, to find a balance and find the so-called wall-bearing roles.
Yes, absolutely. It's a moment you need to decide. Either you need, in this case, senior or junior professional.
Yeah, and yeah, there are a lot of roles, not that much in the early stage startup, because there are mostly like few people, and all of them are generalists mostly. But there are a few roles that you can look for a potential, like for example, junior marketing manager, junior communications, even interns. And here the most important thing is the raw energy and passion people have, because I believe, and also because I am from that part of the of working force, that the motivation can be the half of how good the specialist is.
Absolutely. Especially, I truly agree with you. If we're talking about marketing specialists, there are a lot of things that you just need the energy and the willingness to test all this different stuff, because you don't, it's not like a rocket science, I would say, where you have a clear, for example, mathematical or physical formula and you know that it works this or that way, even though I truly believe there are a lot of exceptions. What I want to say, like, yes, I fully agree with you that some roles you just need an energy, the willingness people to work hard and to test different hypotheses. That is why we have created in MaxBuy our rule of thumb, and I want to read it for you. Like, if this person's failure in the next 3 months could seriously jeopardize the company, you hire the proven senior professional. But if the failure would be a setback but not a catastrophe, you can take a chance on high potential.
Exactly. And the keyword is balance.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, now you've went through all these steps, you hired people, and you are now thinking, oh, the hard work is done. No, the hard work starts now, and it all shifts. And it's not just about hiring, it's building a healthy, productive team. And their resilience is also kind of on you to build within the team. And single most important tool for this, or experience from our side, is one-on-ones. Understanding when to do them, how often to do them, and this has nothing to do with firing. It's a place where you give constructive, open feedback.
Absolutely. And you need to clearly differentiate. There are dailies, there are weeklies, there are one-on-ones. For example, it also depends from the role, from the project, or from the stage, at what stage this project is. And for example, with developers, you might need to have dailies where you talk more about project, and monthly you have one-on-ones where you talk about the career development, where the person want to move, what person likes, what dislikes, and so on and so on.
Yeah, and be open to receive feedback back as a manager, because we are all growing, we are all together building something. No one is perfect, and you for sure will make mistakes. I don't believe there is anyone who does not make mistakes, and having a team that can highlight that in a respectful, open way is crucial.
Absolutely, I agree with you, absolutely.
Yeah, so the goal is consistency. That's the code word.
Yeah, and everyone is learning, even if you are not a young startup but a seasonal founder. Still, you are learning and you are doing mistakes, and it's okay. Like, to do mistakes, it's more important to analyze them and what steps you can do to improve them, to solve them, and to improve yourself as a professional.
Yeah, completely agree. Okay, dear podcast listeners, this was us telling a more deep dive story about the human part of the startups, and I think it's time to sum up.
Yes, like, first, remember, you are not an HR person, so you need to be an evangelist of your own company. You need to convince people with your vision, with your idea.
Yeah. The second and very important one is clearly define the problem you are trying to solve with this hire, and try to go further than just polished CVs. Like, look at the people, look at their how they think, how they operate, their resilience, but most importantly, respect their time.
Absolutely, because, and here is the third, is balance your hiring. It means you need clearly understand either you need senior professionals or junior professionals, and what problems these or those professionals should solve.
Yeah, and finally, but also very important one, once your team is in place, now the work shifts, and here is the most important: how you build the open and um, like trust in the communication. So use regular one-on-ones, again consistency, and stay aligned. See how, if everyone is looking at the same direction, how we are working and how we are developing. Provide support yourself and accept the feedback when it's delivered in respectful way.
Absolutely. And remember, you are a gatekeeper in your company. It means that you are responsible for the energy inside your team, for a good, smooth relationships inside your team. And it's your task to create this correct working atmosphere.
Yeah, completely agree. Okay, then that's it for today's episode. Don't forget to follow us, subscribe, leave comments. We would love to hear your maybe some hiring horror stories or maybe big success. And yeah, give us thumbs up. It's really important.
Yeah, because it helps other young founders to find our episodes, to listen them, and to find some useful information. And also, it will help us to create useful and helpful episodes for you.
Yeah, exactly. Until the next time, stay scrappy, stay a little bit slutty, and we see you soon.
Bye.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Mwah.